The Miami Heat is opening its season tonight against the Orlando Magic. They're traveling to Orlando for the opener. They're an 8.5 point underdog, as the Magic is considered largely a big favorite this year to win the Eastern Conference and play in the NBA Finals. ESPN had the Magic winning the NBA championship this year, in fact. So, don't know what any of that means because we have a long season and things happen all the time. But we're here to talk about the Miami Heat and the fact that the Heat is opening this year on the road. And this season, I tell you what, looking at their roster, their final roster, it is probably the most unimpressive roster the Miami Heat have had in a very long time. And I hate saying that, but just look at the roster. Miami has Bam Adebayo, Simon Fontecchio, Tyler Hero, Kasparis Jakashonis, Jaime Jaquez, Kashad Johnson, Nikola Jovic, Pele Larson, Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Terry Rozier, Drew Smith, Khalil Ware, Andrew Wiggins, and Jameer Young. And on two-way deals, they have Myron Gardner and Vladislav Golden. Tyler Hero is not available to start the season, dealing with off-season surgery, and will not be available probably for at least, I'm guessing, another month. They have said he's on a much faster pace to recovery. I'll say this, I'll say it again. It's better to get the guy healthy than to rush him back. I really don't want to see them rush Hero back if he's not 100% ready to go. Because otherwise, what we'll see is a guy who's in and out of the lineup dealing with injuries all season. Well, let's talk about this. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Heat Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Show. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. This is our new segment within the Come On Now, the podcast family, and it is going to be Miami Heat heavy this year. This will be also the channel that we talk about the NBA. The NBA did start the season last night with a couple of games involving the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder won in double overtime, 125 to 124 over Houston. And Golden State beat the Lakers 119-109. For Heat fans, Jimmy Butler had 31 points in the opener for the Warriors. I know that doesn't make you feel good. I am still a Jimmy Butler fan, and I will always be a Jimmy Butler fan, regardless of how the thing ended. I respect everything that guy did in a Miami Heat uniform. But this is a new season, and hopefully one that's minus a lot of drama internally. What I will say is this, and I'm going to jump it off the rip. The Miami Heat did not offer Tyler Hero a contract extension, and that tells a lot. It tells a lot. It goes back to the stuff that we talked about, or that's been talked about. We talked about, but it's been talked about for quite some time. Is that Tyler Hero is not a number one option. He's not a number one option. They did not extend Tyler Hero's contract before the October 21st deadline. So negotiations will resume next off season. He currently has 2 years left on his existing deal, and the team opted to wait and see how he performs this season before committing to a long-term extension. He'll be eligible for a new extension in July of 26, which could be worth up to $206.9 million over 4 years. Look, man, this is probably the first time I'm going to sit here and say that I'm happy to see that the Heat went this route, because I don't see Tyler Hero as a number one option. He's not a number one option on a great team. And that's the problem. The Miami Heat don't have a number one option. They have a bunch of 2, 3s, and 4s. They have a bunch of 2, 3s, and 4s. And what does that mean for a season? That means you're probably going to be 500 or lower. And if they're 500, they're probably exceeding expectations. Now, obviously, with the addition of Norman Powell, you're hoping that he can fill in the gap that's left by Tyler Hero, because he did have his best year last year, averaging 21 and 22 points a game last season with the Clippers. The Heat is going to miss Tyler Hero's offense for sure. They're going to miss his offense. Are they going to miss him defensively, where he doesn't play much defense? I don't think so. He's not a very good defensive player, and he never has been. He's not really a point guard. Miami doesn't even have a real point guard. Starting Davion Mitchell at point, and that means you're starting a backup at your point position. I mean, Davion Mitchell could be a good player off the bench, but as a starter, he's not that guy. Will the Heat get anything out of Terry Rozier this year? Remains to be seen. Will Andrew Wiggins step up and be a dog? We'll see. I'm surprised Andrew Wiggins is on this team. Quite frankly, I thought Miami would look to trade him in the offseason. Kel'el Ware, I'm looking forward to seeing his growth from year one to year two. But this video is largely about one guy, and it's Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo. Is Bam Adebayo ever going to elevate? And that is the question of the day. That is the question that I've had for multiple seasons now. Is Bam Adebayo going to ever truly establish himself as one of the top players in the NBA? He gets credited as a really good player. He's an Olympic. He's on in the Olympic team, which I don't know why he was really on the Olympic team, to be quite honest, because I don't think he's that good in terms of that level. He's not that level of player. We have not seen him become that level of player. So that question has been asked over and over and over again on a year-to-year basis. On a year-to-year basis, we've been asking this question about Bam Adebayo. Will he get to that next level? And quite frankly, he regressed from 23-24 to 24-25. He decided for some reason he wanted to start shooting three-point shots when he still couldn't make the mid-range 16, 17-footer on a consistent enough basis. He still lacks any real level of a post game. I understand that he might be a power forward playing center. But at the same time, man, you've got to elevate your game. You're paid like a superstar, play like a superstar. 19 points and 10 rebounds is not a superstar in the NBA. It just isn't. It just isn't. You have tons of guys that are being overpaid in this league to do a lot less than they're needed from. And Bam Adebayo is one of those guys. He's been one of those guys. His best year, or I mean, you could say it was his best year, or was that 21, 22, and 22, 23 seasons where he went for 19 and then he went for 20, per game and shooting 54 to 55%. His shooting percentage over the last couple of seasons has just continued to drop. He shot under 50% for the first time in his career last season. Why, you ask? Because he wants to jack up a bunch of bad threes. And because he still doesn't have much of a post-up game. And because he's still not consistent enough with his mid-range shot. There's great expectations of Bam Adebayo, and he has to produce on that level. He has to be a guy that you can rely upon every night for 23, 24 points. Not 19, not 18. 23, 24 points is a must from Bam Adebayo, plus 11 rebounds. He's got to provide that. And that is the question that I'm going to have all season once again for Bam Adebayo, because you're paying him like a star. You're paying him like a superstar. He needs to produce like one. And it's ironic that Tyler Hero, who was the leading scorer last year, averaging over 23 a game, and who did elevate his game somewhat last season, just still not that level of player to be a number one option, in my opinion. But they didn't offer him an extension, but they gave one so quickly to Bam. And yet when it came down to Jimmy Butler, they didn't give one to him. They didn't give one to him. And if anyone's gonna sit here and debate me on Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo, I'm taking Jimmy Butler 10 times out of 10. Whether you like it or not, I don't care what happened last year. I do not care. Bam Adebayo has been proclaimed by this organization to be that guy, and he's not that guy. So will we see that guy that they're talking about finally show up and be that guy? Will he ever be that 24 and 11 type of guy? Will he? He complained the year before about how he wasn't the defensive player of the year, blase, blase. Bro, you ain't earned it, bro. You ain't been that dude. People know more about you now because you're dating Asia Wilson. That's what they know. And your girlfriend gets herself another championship, and you made a statement, and he makes a statement about how he'll marry her when he wins the ring. Well, he ain't going to be marrying her then, because I don't see the Miami Heat winning a ring anytime soon with the roster as constructed. Looking at this point guard situation, it's messy. It's messy. They don't have one. They don't have a point guard. So I do have interest to see how Bam can perform with Kel'el Ware now coming into his second year. Maybe that can relax them a little bit. I don't know. See what happens and what Andrew Wiggins can produce with a full season, a full camp with the Miami Heat. I see Miami as a 500 team, man. Maybe a play-in team, maybe just on the outside looking in. They're probably that 35 to 42 win type of team as constructed. They're not going to be a great team this year. I mean, I hate to burst bubbles of people, but that's really what we're looking at this season. They'll probably overperform expectation. Because if you looked at this team on most other squads, you're probably looking at a 25 to 30 win team. But because it's Miami and the culture that exists and the defensive mentality that exists in Miami, you can see them winning more games just because of an effort level that is just it within this franchise. You can see that. But they open tonight at Orlando. Let's see if they find a way to get the job done, get a win on the road in Orlando. That'll be a tough win. It'll be a tough game to win. And they are 8.5 point dogs going into this game, and they're missing their leading scorer. So again, I mean, we'll see what happens, but stick with us all year. We'll be talking Miami Heat basketball. I know this isn't the most exciting thing to hear, but I keep it real, and I need to see Bam Adebayo perform. If Bam Adebayo can perform and be that 24-11 guy, then maybe we've got something. But if he continues to be that 18 and 10 guy and shooting just around 50%, yeah, I don't know. It won't look good. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. This is Heat Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.